Your brand new Ford is rolling off the assembly line with programmed expiration dates, disguised as convenience features. For over 2 decades as a master technician, I have torn down hundreds of EcoBoost and PowerStroke engines, and I am telling you that the factory configuration your vehicle leaves the dealership with is actively working to shorten its lifespan. Ford builds a highly capable machine, but their marketing department and bean counters have compromised the calibration screens to meet federal emissions mandates and show a lower cost of ownership on paper. They win the showroom battle, while you get stuck with a $5,000 repair bill the second your warranty expires. Today, I am exposing 5 factory settings and features that are quietly destroying your vehicle without you ever knowing it. Setting number 3 has caused the highest volume of catastrophic engine failures in my shop over the last 5 years, costing owners upwards of $10,000 a pop. And setting number 1 is so deceptive that most owners actually think it is beneficial to their engine when it is doing the exact opposite. Let's get into it. Number 5, the Intelligent Oil Life Monitor. If you are waiting for your dashboard to drop to 0% or flash an oil change required message before you pull into the service bay, you are actively grinding your engine bearings to dust. Ford tells you that their algorithm calculates oil degradation based on operating temperatures, idling time, and mileage, allowing for oil change intervals up to 10,000 miles or 1 full year. Mechanically, that is an absolute death sentence for a high-stringency, direct injection turbocharged engine. I have personally pulled oil samples from 3.5-liter EcoBoost engines at the 8,000-mile mark on regular factory recommend oil. Under a microscope, that oil isn't just dirty, it is mechanically sheared. Direct injection naturally causes fuel dilution, where raw gasoline bypasses the piston rings and enters the crankcase, dropping a 5W30 viscosity oil down to a volatile 5W20 or worse. Combine that thinned-out oil with the extreme heat of twin turbochargers spinning at over 200,000 RPM, and the oil completely loses its film strength by running that oil out to 10,000 miles. You are starving the cam phasers and timing chains of vital hydraulic protection. The tiny oil passages leading to the variable camshaft timing actuators clog with microscopic carbon sludge, leading to the infamous EcoBoost cold start rattle and stretch timing chains. The solution is dead simple. Disregard the dashboard monitor entirely. Change your oil every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first, and always use a high-quality full synthetic. You are spending an extra $60 twice a year to avoid a $3,000 timing chain job. Number 4, the Auto Start Stop feature. Ford markets this feature as an eco-friendly advancement that saves you fuel at every red light. But under real-world conditions, it is creating the exact environment that destroys your crankshaft, main bearings, and starter motor. Every single time your engine shuts down at a stoplight, the oil pump stops spinning and oil pressure instantly drops to 0. The oil film between your engine's crankshaft journals and the soft Babbitt metal of the main bearings begins to bleed off when the light turns green and the engine fires back up for a fraction of a second. There is metal-on-metal contact before the oil pump can repressurize the system. In a standard vehicle without this system, an engine might experience 50,000 start cycles over its entire lifetime. With Auto Start Stop enabled, that number skyrockets to over 500,000 start cycles. You are subjecting your engine to 10 times the amount of dry start wear just to save a fraction of a gallon of fuel over a year of driving. Furthermore, this constant cycling cooks your starter motor and obliterates your battery. Your alternator has to work overtime to replenish the massive amperage draw from 50 starts a day, raising underhood temperatures and cooking the vehicle's electrical infrastructure. To stop this cumulative damage, you need to make it a habit to hit the deactivation button on your dash every time you start the truck, or permanently disable the feature using an aftermarket OBD2 programming tool. Protect your bearings, maintain constant oil pressure, and keep your engine alive. Now that we've dealt with the oil monitor and the starter system, we are moving directly into the heavy mechanical failures. These next 2 factory configurations are where the marketing illusion completely shatters against the reality of my service bay. Number 3, the factory transmission shift strategy and adaptive learning loops. If you drive a newer Ford with the 10R80 10-speed automatic transmission, you have probably noticed some clunky shifts, hesitation, or a weird skipping sensation where the truck jumps from first to third, or third to fifth gear under light acceleration. Ford programs the transmission control module to skip gears and shift into the highest possible gear as fast as humanly possible to satisfy federal fuel economy testing protocols. To make matters worse, they equip the computer with adaptive learning, meaning it continuously alters shifting parameters based on your driving habits to smooth things out over time. But here is what Ford doesn't tell you: that programming is actively tearing the internals of your 10-speed transmission apart. Skipping gears under light load forces the transmission into an immediate state of lugging. When the truck skips second gear and bogs down in third at 15 miles per hour, it places an immense torque load on the internal clutch packs and planetary gear sets. Instead of letting the engine spin freely in its power band, the transmission forces the torque converter to lock up early, generating massive amounts of friction and heat. I have personally rebuilt dozens of these 10R80 units with less than 60,000 miles on the odometer, and the carnage is always identical. The CDF clutch drum, a vital internal component, has a brass sleeve that frequently slips out of position due to the constant hydraulic pressure spikes caused by this erratic gear-skipping strategy. Once that sleeve moves, it blocks the oil passages, starving the clutch packs of fluid, burning the friction plates down to bare metal, and sending metal shrapnel directly through your valve body. The dealership will tell you a harsh shift is just the transmission learning your driving style, but they are buying time until your powertrain warranty expires. The solution to this engineering flaw requires a direct shift in your behavior and configuration. First, whenever you are towing, hauling, or driving in stop-and-go traffic, select tow.haul or sport mode on your shifter. This forces the transmission to use every single gear sequentially instead of skipping them, keeping the engine in its optimal RPM range and reducing clutch wear. Second, have a reputable technician use a diagnostic tool to clear the transmission adaptive shift tables every 25,000 miles. Or invest in a high-quality aftermarket transmission calibration that permanently deletes the gear-skipping logic. Number 2, the active grille shutter system. Walk around to the front of almost any modern Ford truck or SUV, and behind the main cosmetic grille, you will find a motorized set of horizontal plastic blinds. Ford calls these active grille shutters. The manufacturer's claim is that by keeping these shutters closed during highway driving, they improve aerodynamic efficiency by a fraction of a percent and help the engine warm up faster in freezing temperatures. It sounds brilliant on a promotional brochure, but in the real world of mechanical longevity, it is creating a pressure cooker under your hood. The hidden mechanism here is a thermal trap. The engine control unit keeps these shutters tightly closed until the engine coolant temperature reaches an elevated threshold, often well over 215 degrees Fahrenheit. While this high operating temperature reduces tailpipe emissions, it simultaneously cooks every single rubber hose, plastic connector, wiring harness, and gasket under that hood. Worse yet, I have inspected hundreds of EcoBoost engines where these plastic shutter assemblies fail. They get jammed shut by road debris, small stones, or the cheap electric actuator motor simply burns out. Because there is no dedicated dashboard warning light for a stuck shutter, you will drive for months completely unaware that your cooling system is being starved of fresh ambient airflow. When you climb a steep grade or merge hard on a hot summer day, your engine coolant and transmission fluid temperatures spike into the danger zone. This extreme heat warps aluminum cylinder heads, degrades the oil's lubricating properties instantly, and cracks the plastic turbo coolant fittings, causing slow, invisible leaks that eventually lead to total coolant loss and a melted engine block. To save your engine from this artificial heat fatigue, the fix costs absolutely nothing but 15 minutes of your time. You do not need to buy anything. Open your hood, locate the active grille shutter assembly behind your main grille, and find the electrical connector leading to the shutter actuator motor. Unplug that connector, when the shutters are in the fully open position. This will log a silent code in the computer that won't trigger a check engine light on most models, but it ensures those shutters remain wide open permanently. Your engine will receive continuous, unrestricted airflow, keeping your operating temperatures stable and preventing the catastrophic thermal warping that kills these trucks prematurely. We have exposed the oil monitors, the starter systems, the transmission logic, and the thermal traps of the grille shutters, but we have finally arrived at the absolute top of the list. This final factory configuration is the most destructive, the most deceptive, and the single biggest lie currently being sold to modern vehicle owners. Number 1. The factory lifetime fluid ratings. Walk up to any Ford service counter or open your owner's manual, and you will see maintenance schedules claiming that the fluid inside your front and rear differentials, your transfer case, and your transmission is rated for lifetime use, or doesn't need to be touched for 150,000 miles. Ford tells you this to create a marketing illusion of a low-maintenance vehicle that costs pennies to own during its initial fleet cycle. They want the vehicle to appear completely maintenance-free to the initial buyer, but as a technician who has pulled these components apart at 60,000 miles, I am telling you that lifetime simply means the lifetime of the factory warranty. The hidden mechanism at play here is mechanical shear, severe thermal degradation, and heavy particulate contamination. Your differentials and transfer case do not have oil filters. As the gears mesh together during the initial break-in period, they naturally shed microscopic metal shavings, iron filings, and chemical bedding compounds directly into the oil. This material acts like a liquid sandpaper, continuously circulating through your bearings and ring and pinion gears at the same time. The extreme pressure and localized heat generated at the gear contact points break down the long-chain polymer molecules in the gear oil, dropping its viscosity and destroying its ability to cushion the metal surfaces. On four-wheel drive models, the power transfer unit or transfer case sits directly next to a glowing hot exhaust pipe or turbocharger, cooking the tiny 2-pint fluid capacity into a thick, black, tar-like sludge long before you ever hit the 100,000-mile mark. I have personally drained lifetime differential fluids at 50,000 miles that looked like metallic gray paint, thick with metal paste, and smelling completely burnt. When you leave that contaminated fluid in there for 150,000 miles, you are allowing that liquid sandpaper to completely wipe out the pinion bearings, pit the gear teeth, and destroy the internal clutch packs. Once the bearings pit, they create excessive play, leading to a howling noise on the highway, total gear deflection, and a catastrophic housing rupture that will leave you stranded on the side of the road with a $4,000 axle replacement bill. The solution to this deceptive factory rating is to implement your own severe duty maintenance schedule. Throw Ford's 150,000-mile recommendation directly into the trash. You need to drain and fill your front and rear differentials, along with your transfer case or power transfer unit at the first 30,000 miles to remove all the initial metal wear debris from the manufacturing break-in process. After that initial flush, service these fluids every 50,000 miles using a high-quality full synthetic gear oil that matches the exact factory viscosity specification. For your automatic transmission, never let it pass 60,000 miles without a fresh fluid drain and a brand new internal filter replacement. When you take a step back and look at the complete picture, it becomes glaringly obvious that your Ford is a phenomenal piece of engineering that has been intentionally handicapped by corporate compromise. The intelligent oil life monitor, the auto start-stop feature, the erratic transmission skipping logic, the suffocating active grille shutters, and the deceptive lifetime fluid ratings are all designed to serve the manufacturer's corporate interests, not your wallet, and certainly not your vehicle's longevity. They are gambling that your engine and drivetrain will survive just long enough to clear the factory powertrain warranty so that the financial burden of their engineering compromises falls entirely on your shoulders. But you don't have to play their game. By taking control of your vehicle's configuration, turning off the damaging electronic parameters, and replacing your fluids based on real-world mechanical wear rather than marketing brochures, you completely rewrite the lifespan of your vehicle. You transform a machine built with programmed expiration dates into a bulletproof powerhouse that will easily run for 300,000 miles. If this breakdown empowered you to take control of your maintenance and save your hard-earned money from costly corporate-induced repairs, make sure you lock in your subscription right now so you never miss the brutal mechanical truth about the vehicle parked in your driveway. Stay vigilant, protect your investment, and never let a marketing department dictate how long your engine lives.